Hello and welcome to News Round, a recap of stories in the week. I'm Laddie Williams. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari sacks service chiefs and asks newly appointed officers to secure the nation and rid the country of insurgency. And Southwest governors meet Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association agree to ban night grazing and end killer herders terrorizing communities. And pandemonium at public hearing of the petroleum industry bill following a fight by host communities. And South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa tells rich nations to stop hoarding COVID vaccines. And News Round begins with a sack of service chiefs by President Muhammadu Buhari, replacing them with younger officers. The new service chiefs are Major General Lucky Irabor, who is the new Chief of Defense Staff, and Major General Ibrahim Atahiru takes over the Chief of Army Staff. Rear Admiral Awal Gambo is the new Chief of Naval Staff, while Air Vice Marshal Oladayo Amao is appointed Chief of Air Staff. And a day after their appointment, the four new service chiefs were the guests of the President at the Villa in Abuja. President Buhari told them in clear terms to do nothing else but rid the country of insurgency, banditry and kidnapping. The President also hosted Oyo State Governor and the Oni of Ife on matters of Southwest security.
24 hours after the new service chiefs took over office, they arrived at the State House for a familiarity meeting with the President. It's their first public appearance since their appointment. The President met with the service chiefs behind closed doors. As contained in a released statement, the President noted that the country is in a state of emergency, charging them to be patriotic and work to significantly contain the security crisis. After the meeting, the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Lucky Irabor, acknowledged that they are not unmindful of the expectations.
Just see, Mr. President, and we're mindful of the demands. And we can only at this stage pledge to do the utmost best to bring security, safety and security to lives and properties across the country. We believe that there will be value that will be added to the security disposition of the nation. We, knowing the current security environment, must do everything possible to add value to the security disposition, and that the expectations are high, and we're quite mindful of that expectation. So we collectively will work to achieve that.
Governors of Oyo and Ondo states also met separately with the President at the State House.
Together,
Governor Seyi Makinde explained afterwards at a briefing the disagreement with the activist Sunday Igboho over the ultimatum given to Fulanese to leave the state.
What triggered all of this? Yes, Dr. Aborode was brutally murdered. That is a criminal. But on the other hand, the Seriki Alhaji Abdul Kadir has been staying in that same place for 40 years. So quite frankly, the people that were after are the criminals. They are the hoodlums, the bandits, the armed robbers, the kidnappers. Those are the true enemy of the state.
Earlier, the Oni of Ife, His Royal Highness Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, met with the President at his residence. He revealed that the President has promised that he will not allow the nation's security challenge to be politicized by any individual or political group.
The objective is politics shouldn't be mixed with the safety and security concerns of our people. Politics should be completely taken out of it. And to the glory of God, Mr. President says he's fully on board with us as traditional rulers, and so be it.
Just as the governors are carving out fresh approaches as a critical means of ending the security crisis, they're hoping that these visits to the president would stimulate more action on the situation moving forward into the year. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And still on security matters, especially as it concerns the Southwest, governors in the region and the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association have agreed to ban night and underage grazing in the region. After the meeting in Akure, the Ondo State capital, the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, explained that the eviction order by the Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, to herdsmen in the state's forest reserve was misconstrued.
This is the International Culture and Events Center, Akure, the Ondo State capital. It's the venue of the meeting of the Southwest Governors and the national leadership of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, as well as other concerned groups. The meeting is born out of last week's directive by Governor Rotimi Akeredolu to herdsmen and farmers to vacate forest reserves in Ondo State, a development that has led to war of words between the governor and the federal government. Governors of Ondo, Ekiti, Osun and Oyo states and their counterparts from Jigawa and Kebbi states are present here. First to address the gathering is the representative of the national president of MACBAN, Baba Ingilzama. He describes the association as peace-loving, emphasizing how the group operates.
We make it abundantly clear that this association is open to working with various governments against all forms of criminality, because we don't represent criminals, we don't support criminals, we don't condone any form of criminality.
Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State and his counterpart from Jigawa share their thoughts on the herdsman crisis with the gathering.
We will continue to promote good neighborliness amongst our people, and we will ensure that we go after the criminals, all of us together.
Both Fulanis, the governments and the security agencies agree on one thing, that they will not tolerate criminality in any form or shape.
For Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, the meeting affords him the chance to put the record straight on the directive to herdsmen in the state.
They are using our forest reserves as the area of coordination. So anybody who is there illegally has 7 days to vacate the place. And that here and I spoke and said, look, even our farmers will register them. Was that not what I said? And that anybody who wants to now use that place will have to be registered.
After all said and done, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State presents the resolutions arrived at from the meeting.
Henceforth, night grazing should be banned. Underage herding is inimical to security and hence be banned. And that illegal occupation of state forest reserve is condemned.
The deliberations and resolutions are another attempt at preventing an escalation of tension between the Ondo State government and MACBAN. Hopefully, it sets the right precedent for other internal conflicts like these.
Away from security issues, there was pandemonium at the public hearing on the petroleum industry bill on Thursday as two men from host communities of oil-producing companies threw caution to the wind and exchanged blows over who should speak first for their communities. The situation temporarily disrupted the session on the second day of a two-day hearing before calm was restored.
It's the final day of the two-day hearing of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the Petroleum Industry Bill. The day is dedicated majorly to receiving submissions from host communities and players in the oil and gas sector. But first, the government side concludes its presentations, which started on day one.
As much as we want to protect today's revenue, we should look at sustainability. We should look at how revenue streams will continue to flow over the years. And these are the areas from the Ministry of Finance that we are looking at, because we don't want to get all the money today and then lose tomorrow's money.
Next, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria speaks on protecting its interests.
Petroleum Equalization Fund is marketers' money. No government cover there. It's our money. So we are happy with the way they have been managing our money, and we are saying their place should not be displaced or put in jeopardy.
It's the turn of host communities, and a group known as Host Communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas is called upon by the committee to speak on behalf of all host communities. But then a fight breaks out as members of other host communities insist that they cannot be represented by the group. The Minister of Petroleum for State is among those who attempt to break up the fight. Attempts by security forces to remove the brawlers are resisted.
That is not going anywhere. Telling Gosita is not going anywhere. Are you serious telling you that you say Africa? What telling that you should go? I will not take that from you. I will not. He's the one doing the job in this country. He's the one doing the job in this country.
Calm is eventually restored, and the host communities of the different oil-producing areas are allowed to make presentations.
The kind of things we used to do, the relation we have with our ecology is all disrupted. We are left behind. A lot of the time, we now have to resort to means that are not constructive. If you regard us as a fringe with our back to the wall, and you want to come to our land to drill hydrocarbon, and you want to tie our hands, we hear you.
I want to create the diligence of the leadership of the House and the Ministry to look critically into the recommendations as it affects the host communities. We must be given a paramount place in this bill. Thank you.
Oil company that is working in my place, please help us beg them to employ my sons and daughters so that I can have peace. I adopt my position. I plead with you people to help our kingdom so that the peace in the Niger Delta can be sustained. Involve our people and there will be peace in the Niger Delta.
The host communities are hopeful that their demand of 10% instead of the 2.5% proposed for them in the PIB will be considered. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, some indigents of the Niger Delta are asking the people from the region to support the sole administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Mr. Effiong Ekwa, who they say has the capability to effectively confront the developmental challenges facing the region. The group under the auspices of the Oron Union Abuja branch are also reacting to the allegation that he was imposed by the Minister of the Niger Delta, Senator Godswill Akpabio.
The allegation that Barrister Effiong Ekwa was unilaterally imposed as the sole administrator of the NDDC by Niger Delta Minister Senator Godswill Akpabio is false. Barrister Ekwa was first appointed by Mr. President in October 2020 to fill the positions of Executive Director, Finance and Administration, which was vacant following the death of the Executive Director of Finance, Mr. Ibanga Etang. The allegation that Barrister Effiong Ekwa is not from oil-producing community in the Niger Delta, as provided in the NDDC Act, is puerile and further from the truth. The true position is that Barrister Effiong Ekwa is from Oron, a major oil-producing community in Akwa Ibom State, in the Niger Delta region, and in fact in Africa as a whole. The appointment of Effiong Ekwa and illustrious sons of Oro as the sole administrator of the NDDC should be applauded by every right-thinking Niger Deltan as the right step to right the monumental injustices perpetrated against the good people of Oro.
And still ahead on News Round, President Cyril Ramaphosa warns rich nations to stop hoarding COVID vaccines. Details in a moment. Just with us. And now to health matters. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has announced that the UK variant, the B117, has been found in Nigeria among 4 Nigerians, 3 of the cases in travelers already out of the country, and 1 is a resident. By implication, the task force notes that the country has become more vulnerable, hence the urgent need for increased adherence to the COVID-19 safety protocols.
It is official. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 shared the announcement that the new B117 variant prevalent in the United Kingdom has been detected in Nigeria. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and the Director General of the NDDC reiterate that the UK variant of interest found in Nigeria is more transmissible but has the same symptoms as the first.
There have been reports of cases with B117 variant strain first reported in the UK, found in Nigeria. 3 of these were in travelers out of Nigeria, and 1 a resident.
This was reported to us through the international health regulations, and it's most likely that these strains were acquired in Nigeria. Like I said, we sent 50 samples to them. I reported to you 2 weeks ago. 1 of those samples came out to have that variant of interest, the UK variant of interest that is linked to increased transmission.
The number of COVID-19 cases equally surged among core members as about 700 members in Batch B test positive, prompting a warning to states.
Going forward, any state that refuses to cooperate fully, 100%, in the aspect of COVID-19 protocols adherence, full testing using the RDTs, and also data management by the approved staff of the NDDC, the health ministry, and also the trained doctors, that state will have its orientation camp shut down, and the corpus will be sent to adjoining state.
The PTF is expecting a $2 billion backing by the Africa Exim Bank loan to procure additional vaccines, expected in March. A handbook will also be released to provide guidance on COVID-19 related issues.
Beyond the official reveal that the new variant exists within the country, what also resonates out here is a desperate appeal for states to ramp up testing and adherence to the safety protocols to mitigate fatalities within the country. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And 424 Nigerians repatriated from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have staged a protest on the arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja against a move by the Nigeria health authorities to have them quarantined. According to them, they were certified COVID-19 negative by authorities in Saudi Arabia, but they spent several months in isolation camps before being evacuated.
The arrival of the Saudi Arabian airline conveyed the returnees. At exactly 11:57 a.m., the flight touches down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and shortly after, the returnees begin to disembark. They are conveyed by a bus from the apron to the arch terminal at the airport. They file in, but before being ushered to their seats, they undergo temperature checks. After settling in, an official from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomes them back home.
Welcome, and welcome, and welcome.
It's the turn of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control to address the returnees.
It's to ensure institutional quarantine for returnees into the country.
But no sooner had the representative of the center started speaking, the returnees begin to protest. They are against the decision to be quarantined in Nigeria. They insist that they have no COVID-19.
You cannot touch me like that. I'm a woman. Don't touch me like that.
For some, it's the experience in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that haunts them. But government officials insist on having them quarantined, assuring them of better care.
They were thinking that they will have to transport themselves. I'm also going to assure them that we are arranging transport for them. They are also thinking that they will feed themselves for the period of quarantine. I'm also going to assure them that during the period of quarantine, that food, drinks has been prepared for them.
Although officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are assuring the returnees that their welfare will be adequately taken care of, they do not want to yield. They do not want to go to quarantine center. All they want is that they want to go back to their homes, and they want that immediately. From the arch terminal at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
And news round ends with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa warning rich countries against vaccine nationalism, saying that it risks endangering the recovery of not only countries like South Africa, but all nations. Vaccine nationalism is where wealthier countries effectively hoard COVID-19 vaccines for their own citizens, freezing out less prosperous countries such as South Africa. Speaking virtually during the World Economic Forum's digital Davos conference on Tuesday, Cyril Ramaphosa said this is quickly becoming a problem and needs to be addressed collaboratively.
And some countries have even gone beyond and acquired up to 4 times what their population needs. And that was aimed at hoarding these vaccines. And now this is being done to the exclusion of countries, of other countries in the world that most need this. We are all not safe if some countries are vaccinating their people and other countries are not vaccinating. We all must act together in combating coronavirus because it affects all of us equally.
And that's a wrap on News Round. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.